Okay, we have a 2003 Subaru Forester with excessive play in the wipers. As you can see, they move freely. Quite a bit of free play in these without even turning the motor. So I suspect the bushings and the linkage are worn out. And so this needs to be disassembled and either the bushings replaced or the linkage replaced. I opted to actually get a OEM, the entire mechanism and the motor. I'm just going to replace it all as a unit. This should be a more practical way to do it, and it's all OEM parts, hopefully. So that's the intent here, is to remove the entire unit and linkage and replace it with this one. The wiper arms have been removed. That they have a 14mm nut holding each one on. Often you'll need to kind of wiggle the arms back and forth to loosen them up. These took quite a bit of effort and a little bit of PB blaster to get these off. Probably never been off before. But anyway, now the next step is to remove this plastic cowl. There's several clips on each side and in the middle that hold it in place. So I will go ahead with my trim remover here and try to remove those clips without breaking them and get that cowl piece off so we can expose the motor and linkage. Several clips underneath. There's this one right here is kind of a problem one. It should pop out with this trim removal tool. This one's giving me a little bit of grief, but all the rest of the clips are underneath the center part. So once this is out, hopefully I'll be able to remove this piece. Okay, the cowl's been removed. You can see the mechanism under here. You can see there's a lot of play in this linkage. You can hear it rattling. So I believe that's our problem with the blades. There's also a lot of debris. It'd be good to maybe get a shop vac and clean that out. And there are 3 10mm bolts that hold this in. There's one here and one here, and I believe one right up here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those, and hopefully, and once I also remove this electrical connector right on the motor, hopefully everything will just come right out. Okay, I have removed the linkage, and from the car, I've actually brought it inside with the new one, kind of take a good look at it, and we can see that here is the old one right here, where the motor, the linkage joins the motor. It is totally worn out. The bushing is basically gone right there, and that I believe is where our play is coming in. The wipers were basically not going all the way up on their stroke and then not going all the way down, and you could tell the motor was kind of going a little further and then doubling back. So it was just a lot of slop, a lot of play in the system. And then the new one doesn't seem to have that problem. It's pretty tight, so I'm hoping that solves our problem. Again, there's the old one, and then there's the new one, and everything seems pretty tight on this one. So hopefully everything will work out as we put this new one in. Okay, I have installed the mechanism, and I'm testing the wiper blades to see how they'll work. But if you notice, there's not nearly the play in this system as there was, so it looks like it's a lot better shape. I just want to make sure, I'm gonna have to take the arms off again to put the cowl back on, but I just want to make sure that they do operate relatively smoothly. I turned the motor on briefly before and it seems to work fine. So we'll see how everything works together before putting it all back together. Put everything back together again and testing the wipers out, and so we will see how they work. So I will try them, and they go up to the normal position. They weren't going quite as far over before, and they're now going and parking at the correct position down right over the heaters in the glass, so they seem to be working fine. So $62 assembly on eBay, and I got an OEM part that has wear in it than what was on here before. You also could go the route of buying the bushings at the local auto parts store and going that route as well, and it would be a lot cheaper. I don't know how well that will last though, so I opted to go with an OEM part. Anyway, hopefully this video will be helpful to you if you have to do a similar repair.